Scene: a vast, silent desert at twilight. The sand is the color of bone. A single, ornate, velvet armchair sits in the middle of nowhere. In the sky, two moons hang, one a perfect pearl, the other a cracked and weeping obsidian. You, the narrator, are sitting in the armchair, dressed in a timeless, dark suit. You speak directly to the camera, your voice calm and resonant, like stones rolling in a deep river. Narrator: have you ever felt it? A pressure building from within, a silent, rising tide that has no name. It happens not in moments of grand tragedy, but in the quiet spaces of your life. In the pause before sleep. In the reflection staring back at you from a dark window. It is the subtle but persistent feeling that you are living on a shoreline, terrified of the ocean that is, in truth, your own life. This fear, this hesitation to truly live, to truly feel, is a condition of the modern soul. We can call it the drowning man's dilemma. You are thirsty, yet you fear the water. You sense that everything you desire, passion, creativity, connection, meaning, lies out there, in the shimmering, unpredictable depths. But you remain on the dry, predictable sand, because you are convinced that to step into the water is to be swept away, to be annihilated. Today, we are not going to teach you how to build a better wall against this ocean. We are going to teach you how to breathe underwater. By the end of this journey, you will understand the symbolic language of water in your dreams, and in doing so, you will learn to navigate the vast, unquiet sea of your own unconscious. You will transform its overwhelming tides into a source of profound strength and wisdom. The camera slowly pushes in on your face. A single, perfect drop of water falls from the cloudless sky and lands on your hand. You don't flinch. You simply observe it. Scene: the desert landscape dissolves. We are now inside a room that defies logic. Bookshelves stretch to an infinite height, filled not with books, but with glass bottles containing swirling mists and tiny, contained storms. The armchair remains, but it is now perched on the edge of a pristine, but empty, swimming pool tiled with a mosaic of human eyes. Narrator: you feel it as a knot in your stomach, a tightness in your chest. You've built a life that is, by all external measures, stable. Safe. You have your routines, your responsibilities, your carefully curated identity. You are the captain of a very small, very dry ship. But then, the weather changes. A minor conflict at work, a thoughtless word from a loved one, a memory that ambushes you in the checkout line. Suddenly, the floorboards of your ship begin to creak. You feel a swell of emotion that is entirely disproportionate to the event. A flicker of anger threatens to become a wildfire. A pang of sadness feels like a bottomless well. And what do? You do what you have always done. You batten down the hatches. You tell yourself, I'm being irrational, I'm overreacting, I just need to think about something else. You distract, you numb, you rationalize. You grip the wheel of your conscious mind so tightly your knuckles turn white, and you steer with all your might away from the storm. You survive. You always do. But have you ever truly considered the cost of this survival? The hidden consequence of living in this state of perpetual drought? You stand up and walk to the edge of the empty pool. Your reflection stares back from the unblinking eyes of the tiles. When you dam a river, you don't just stop the floods. You also stop the life-giving water that irrigates the land. By refusing to feel the depths of your sorrow or the fire of your rage, you inadvertently cut yourself off from the depths of your joy and the fire of your passion. Your emotional landscape becomes barren. Love feels muted. Success feels hollow. Beauty is something you appreciate with your mind, but no longer feel in your bones. You become a curator in a museum of your own life, rather than a participant. You are safe from the storms, yes. But you are also trapped in a climate-controlled room, slowly turning to dust, while your true life, the vast, wet, chaotic, beautiful world of feeling, waits just outside the door. Your dreams know this. And that is why they send you the water. They are trying to save you from dying of thirst. Scene: you gesture towards the empty pool. Slowly, impossibly, a single drop of water emerges from the central drain and begins to multiply, filling the entire pool in seconds. The water is impossibly clear, and at the bottom, we can see not tiles, but a swirling galaxy of stars. You sit back down in your armchair, which is now floating serenely on the surface of this cosmic pool. Narrator. The great cartographer of the soul, Carl Jung, understood this dilemma perfectly. He proposed that the human psyche is not a single, unified country, but a vast archipelago. What you call you, your conscious mind, your ego, is merely the most populated, well-lit island in this chain. It's where you build your house, conduct your business, and believe your entire world resides. But surrounding this island, stretching to an infinite horizon, is the ocean. And this ocean, Jung said, is your unconscious. It is the source of everything, your instincts, your forgotten memories, your creative impulses, your deepest fears, and your most profound wisdom. It is the repository of not just your personal history, but the entire history of humanity, the collective unconscious. To fear the water in your dreams, then, is to fear the vast majority of who you are. It is the fear of your own depth, your own power. The solution is not to fortify the shores of your tiny island. The solution is to become a navigator. This requires understanding three fundamental principles of this inner ocean. First, the principle of reflection. The state of the water in your dream is a perfect, unflinching mirror of your inner emotional world, especially the parts you refuse to look at when you are awake. If you dream of a raging, muddy flood, your psyche is not predicting a natural disaster. It is showing you the repressed anger and confusion that is threatening to overwhelm the orderly village of your conscious mind. If you dream of a serene, crystal-clear lake, you are being shown a place of inner peace and clarity that is available to you, a spiritual reservoir you have perhaps forgotten how to find. The water doesn't lie. Second, the principle of depth. Not all water is the same. The depth of the water in your dream corresponds to the layer of the psyche you are encountering. Dreaming of a shallow puddle on the street might relate to a minor, daily annoyance you've stepped in. Dreaming of a river speaks to the flow of your life force, your libido. Is it flowing freely, or is it dammed and stagnant? But to dream of the ocean, the vast, dark, bottomless ocean, that is an invitation into the deepest part of you. You are leaving the personal and entering the transpersonal, the realm of archetypes, of gods and monsters that live in the collective soul of humanity. The things that swim in these waters are not just your personal hang-ups, they are ancient and powerful. And third, the principle of transformation. In every myth, in every spiritual tradition, water is the agent of change. It dissolves and it purifies. Think of baptism, of the holy waters of the Ganges, of the primordial soup from which all life emerged. To be submerged in the waters of the unconscious, to drown in your dream, is a terrifying experience for the ego. The ego fears its own dissolution above all else. But from the perspective of the soul, this drowning is a necessary death. It is an alchemical process that dissolves the old, rigid, brittle self, so that a new, more whole, more authentic self can be reborn. The dream of drowning is often the prelude to a profound psychological breakthrough. You must go under to come up new. Your task, then, is not to fight the water. It is to build a boat. Your conscious awareness, your courage, your curiosity, these are the timbers of your vessel. With it, you can leave the lonely island of your ego and begin to explore the other islands of your true self. You can learn to fish in the waters of your own creativity, to navigate by the stars of your deepest intuition, and to face the sea monsters that are, in reality, your own disowned power. Scene. The cosmic pool transforms. It is now a quiet, wood-paneled study, reminiscent of Freud's or Jung's office. But one wall is a single, massive aquarium, teeming with strange, symbolic, dreamlike fish. You are standing before it, a leather-bound journal in your hand. Narrator. This is not merely a beautiful metaphor. It is a practical science of the soul. Navigating your inner ocean requires skill, practice, and the right tools. I will give you 4 concrete techniques to begin your voyage, starting tonight. Think of this as your apprenticeship as a dream mariner. First, become a dream cartographer. Place a journal by your bed. We will call it your water log. When you wake from a dream involving water, do not simply write down what happened. That is the story of a tourist. You are a cartographer. You must map the water itself. Before your conscious mind can explain it away, ask these questions and write down the answers immediately, in raw, unfiltered language. Asterisk. What was the water's quality? Was it clear, murky, salty, fresh, stagnant, or effervescent? What was its form? An ocean, a river, a flood, a puddle, rain, a single teardrop, a glass of water? What was its action? Was it rising, receding, crashing, calm, frozen, or boiling? Asterisk, and most importantly, what was your relationship to it? Were you swimming, drowning, observing from a distance, sailing upon it, drinking it, or bathing in it? Do this consistently. After a few weeks, lay out your log. You will begin to see patterns emerge like continents from a misty sea. You will notice that a stressful week at work is always followed by dreams of murky, stagnant swamps. You will see that moments of creative breakthrough are preceded by dreams of clear, flowing springs. You are learning the unique weather patterns of your own soul. Second, practice emotional scuba diving. This is an exercise for your waking life. The next time you feel a powerful, overwhelming emotion, a surge of anxiety in a meeting, a wave of grief that comes from nowhere, do not immediately suppress it. Do not analyze it. Instead, take a single, conscious breath. Close your eyes for just a moment, if you can. Now, instead of labeling the feeling with a word like anxiety or anger, give it a watery form. Visualize it. Is this anxiety a cold, deep, crushing pressure, like the bottom of the ocean? Is this anger a hot, violent geyser erupting from the earth? Is this joy a warm, gentle rain on your skin? By transforming the raw feeling into a symbolic image, you create a crucial space. You are no longer drowning in the emotion. You have become a deep-sea diver, observing a fascinating phenomenon of your inner world. This practice builds the muscle of what we call the observing ego. It allows you to experience your emotions fully without being capsized by them. You are developing your sea legs. Third, dialogue with the deep. This technique, known as active imagination, is one of the most powerful tools for psychological exploration. Take an image of water from a particularly potent dream. Let's say you dreamt of a great tidal wave. In your journal, write the date, and then, begin a written dialogue. Personify the wave. Give it a voice. Ask it questions, and write down the very first answer that comes into your mind, no matter how strange or illogical. For example, you, great wave, why did you appear in my dream? Wave. To wash away the dead things you cling to. You. What dead things? Wave. The job that suffocates you. The resentment you mistake for loyalty. The image of yourself that is a fortress made of sand. Do not censor this. You are not writing poetry. You're taking dictation from your own soul. The water in your dream is not a random symbol. It is an intelligent fragment of your own psyche, a messenger from the deep. By engaging it in dialogue, you are opening a channel of communication between your conscious island and your unconscious ocean. The answers will surprise, and sometimes frighten you. But they will always be true. Fourth, the ritual of the vessel. A navigator cannot sail the seas in a leaking raft. Your ego, your conscious self, needs to be a sturdy, reliable vessel to withstand the power of the unconscious. This vessel is fortified by conscious, daily acts of structure and self-care. This week, I want you to choose one small, deliberate ritual to strengthen your vessel. This is not about distraction or escape. It is about creating a space of conscious order amidst the beautiful chaos of life. It could be 10 minutes of silent meditation each morning, where you simply watch the waves of your thoughts without judgment. It could be dedicating 1 hour to a creative act, painting, writing, playing music, where you give a conscious form to the messages from the deep. It could be a walk in nature, without a phone, where you reconnect your inner world with the outer one. This ritual is your anchor. It is the practice that allows you to journey into the unpredictable waters of your unconscious and know that you have a safe harbor to which you can return. A strong vessel does not fear the storm. It was built for it. Scene. The study dissolves away, and we are now in a vast, surreal library. The books are ancient, leather-bound tomes, but they float in midair. Some are open, their pages rippling as if stirred by an unseen wind. You pull one particular book from the air, a large, red, ornately decorated volume. Narrator. You may think this is all just a beautiful fantasy, a poetic way of talking about feelings. It is not. This is a map, tested and proven by the bravest explorers of the inner world. Carl Jung himself did not simply invent these theories from a comfortable academic armchair. He lived them. This is a replica of his Red Book, the private log of his own multi-year journey into the depths of his unconscious. After his break with his mentor, Sigmund Freud, Jung entered a period of profound crisis and disorientation. He felt he was losing his mind, that he was adrift on a sea of psychosis. Night after night, his dreams confronted him with terrifying images, with floods and blood and abyssal depths. Instead of medicating himself, instead of turning away, he did the unthinkable. He turned towards the chaos. He began a systematic exploration of his inner world, using the very techniques I have just described. He dialogued with the figures in his visions. He painted the landscapes of his soul. He treated his unconscious not as an enemy to be conquered, but as a wise and terrible teacher. He did not drown. He emerged from this journey with the core principles of his entire life's work. The concepts of archetypes, the collective unconscious, the process of individuation, all of it was born from his own courageous voyage. His journey into the deep didn't destroy him, it made him whole. It proved that the ocean of the unconscious, while dangerous, holds the treasure of a complete and authentic life for those who dare to sail it. This is not an isolated case. Think of the ancient mariners. For centuries, the ocean was a place of terror on their maps. They filled the unknown spaces with warnings. Here be dragons, here be krakens. They feared falling off the edge of a flat world. Their fear, a projection of their own minds, kept them tethered to the familiar shore. But a few, driven by a deeper calling, built better ships. They learned to read the stars. They learned the rhythms of the tides. They learned to respect the power of the sea rather than simply fearing it. And what did they find? They did not find monsters that devoured them. They found new worlds. They expanded the map of human possibility. Your inner world is the same. It is the last great unexplored frontier. As long as you remain on the shore, you will populate its depths with the monsters of your own fear. But if you build your vessel and set sail, you will discover that the dragons are guarding treasure, and the terrifying depths hold the forgotten continents of your own being. The logic is undeniable. An emotion that is suppressed does not vanish. It is simply pushed underwater, where it gathers pressure. It ferments in the dark, gaining a strange and volatile power. Your dreams of floods and tsunamis are the first signs of the pressure becoming too great. They are the hairline fractures appearing in the dam you have so carefully constructed. You can choose to ignore them, to patch the cracks and pray the dam holds. Or you can see them for what they are. An urgent invitation to build a spillway, a conscious channel to release that pressure, to harness that immense energy for creativity and life, rather than waiting for the catastrophic flood that will wash everything away. Scene. We return to the initial scene. The vast desert at twilight, the two moons in the sky. You are once again seated in the single, ornate armchair. The landscape is peaceful, serene. Narrator. The water in your dreams is a personal letter, written in a universal language, sent from the deepest part of you to the part of you that is living your daily life. It is asking you to come home. It is reminding you that you are far more than the small, arid island of your conscious ego. You are the entire archipelago. You are the sea that connects it all. Now, I want you to become an explorer with me. Look into the depths of your own memory. In the comments below, share a dream of water that has always stayed with you. Do not interpret it, simply describe it. Describe the water. Was it a tranquil pond or a terrifying tsunami? A cleansing rain or a suffocating fog? We will explore these powerful symbols together, as a community of fellow navigators. If you are ready to stop being a castaway on the shores of your own life and start becoming a navigator of your inner world, subscribe to Ego and Echo. Here, we don't fear the deep. We chart it. And your journey does not end here. Now that you have begun to understand the language of the water, the very landscape of your unconscious, you may be wondering about the inhabitants of that ocean. The strange fish, the helpful dolphins, the great whales, and yes, the sea monsters. Our next session, Dreaming of Animals. What your inner beast is trying to tell you, is the essential next step on your voyage. It will teach you how to understand the instinctual, primal energies that swim within you. Click the video on the screen to continue your exploration. Do not be afraid of your own depth. The sea is only a monster to those who cannot swim. You give a slight, knowing smile. The camera holds on your face for a moment, then slowly pulls back, leaving you in the armchair in the vast, silent, and now peaceful desert landscape. The two moons, both now whole and luminous, bathe the scene in a soft, ethereal light.